Neither of these asteroids is a threat to Earth, but this technique could prove to be a reliable way to alter the course of an asteroid that is on a collision course with Earth in the future. On September 26th, external cameras aboard the International Space Station captured views of Hurricane Ian just south of Cuba as the storm moved toward the north-northwest. As expected, Ian intensified as it approached Florida. Space station cameras caught the storm again on September 28th as it was making landfall in southwest Florida as a Category 4 storm with winds upward of 155 miles per hour and a potentially catastrophic storm surge. On the night of September 26th, the team at our Kennedy Space Center began moving our Artemis 1 moon rocket from Launch Pad 39B back to the Vehicle Assembly Building, or VAB. The Space Launch System rocket and Orion spacecraft were secured inside the VAB the next morning. Managers decided on the rollback due to weather predictions related to Hurricane Ian. In addition to protecting the integrated rocket and spacecraft, they also wanted to give employees time to address the needs of their families ahead of the storm. The spacecraft for our Juno mission at Jupiter made a close flyby of the planet's ice-covered moon Europa on September 29th. This image from the pass, some 220 miles above Europa's surface, is the first to come of some of the highest resolution images ever taken of portions of the moon. Valuable data are also expected from the flyby that, once processed, could benefit and inform future missions like the agency's Europa Clipper mission, which is targeted to launch in 2024 to study the icy moon. More information is available at nasa.gov/Juno. Believe it or not, these inflatable habitats are being blown up to make them safe for humans. Habitats like these could be used to house astronauts on future long-term surface exploration missions to the Moon and eventually Mars. But before then, NASA and commercial partners the world's first ever planetary defense.
So yeah, we're going to pause from that. I think that was something that we have seen with that explosion that was going on. So yes, and everything else that's happening. This is another thing that we're working with today. That's all right. That's all right. We're going to give you a little bit of what to look up for in the night sky this month. So as you're looking out and looking into the stars, check out this. That'll be going on with What's Up, NASA.
What's up for October? Evenings with Giants. Mars changes course, and meteors from Orion. Giant planets Jupiter and Saturn are visible throughout the night in October. Early in the evening, you'll find them to the southeast, moving slowly westward with the stars over the course of the night. They form a triangle with bright star Fomalhaut. When observing the trio, note how the planets shine with a steady light, while the star twinkles. This can be an easy way to know if what you're looking at is a planet or a star.
Okay, so now we're getting things on track. We'll get back to What's Up, NASA.
What's up for October? Evenings with Giants. Mars changes course, and meteors from Orion. Giant planets Jupiter and Saturn are visible throughout the night in October. Early in the evening, you'll find them to the southeast, moving slowly westward with the stars over the course of the night. They form a triangle with bright star Fomalhaut. When observing the trio, note how the planets shine with a steady light, while the star twinkles. This can be an easy way to know if what you're looking at is a planet or a star. Mars has been steadily working its way toward the east all year like it usually does relative to the background stars. But at the end of October, Mars halts this apparent motion, then appears to reverse course. Over the next 3 months, from November to late January, Mars moves toward the west each night. Then near the end of January, it reverses direction again and continues its eastward journey. This is what's called the retrograde motion of Mars. It happens about every 2 years, and it really threw early observers for a loop. That Mars appears to change its direction is an illusion caused by the motions of our planet in its orbit passing by the red planet in its orbit. See, Earth and Mars are on these roughly circular paths around the Sun, like cars on a racetrack, and Earth is on the inner, faster track. About every 26 months, we overtake Mars, which is moving slower in its orbit. During that period when we're passing Mars, but before we round the bend in our orbit to pull away from it, we see Mars in retrograde, appearing to change direction, even though it's still moving forward in its orbit. So take note of Mars over the next few months as it appears to reverse course. Note how its position changes with respect to Betelgeuse, Aldebaran, and the Pleiades over the weeks, and you'll be witnessing what was once a source of intense curiosity for astronomers, but which we now know is just a sign of two planets passing in the night. The Orionid meteor shower is active throughout October and November and peaks on the night of October 20th. It's a moderate shower, usually producing 10 to 20 meteors per hour at its peak, under clear, dark skies. This year, the moon will be about 20% full on the peak nights, so it will interfere a bit when it rises a couple of hours before dawn, but it shouldn't totally spoil the viewing. The shower's name comes from the fact that you can trace the paths of its meteors back to an area on the sky near Orion. These meteors are fragments of dust left behind by Comet Halley in a trail that extends along its orbit. They tend to be bright and fast-moving, and they often leave persistent trails that can glow in the sky for a few seconds after they streak by. No special equipment is needed to observe meteor showers. Just make sure you're warm enough and viewing from a safe, dark spot away from bright lights. Then all you have to do is look up and enjoy the show. Here are the phases of the moon for October. Stay up to date with all of NASA's missions to explore the solar system and beyond at nasa.gov. I'm Preston Dykes from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and that's what's up for this month.
All right. So now that was a little bit, we started off with a little mix up, but we've got it going, and it's on to the BFTAA and more show. I am George Walker, and I wanted to get in touch with you guys again this week. We've had a busy weekend. I had a class, not a class reunion, but our Paseo High School class of 1970, which I was a part of, our 70th birthday celebration over the weekend. So we had a full weekend of events from Friday until yesterday, Sunday, and I had a great time seeing a lot of high school friends and taking some of them trips back to the glory days and having just some fun. So it was really nice. I want to say thank you to all those that came and enjoyed the event. I know I enjoyed myself. And it was just good seeing a lot of old friends again, getting to talk with people and all of that. So thank you for coming out. Thank you for being there. And if you want to go to our Facebook page, which is the class reunion, we have a class reunion group page, Paseo 1970 class reunion pages. A lot of the photos are there. Also, I put it on my story yesterday, so it's in there. It's going to be up for a little while longer because it was last night when I put it in. So you can see some of the pictures of us old-timers getting back together again. Did some bowling, and I hadn't did that in quite a while, and that was fun. So it's always good to touch base with some of your friends, especially your old friends, and just, share some time together, good fellowshipping with people. But want to talk to you now about a little bit of things that's going on in technology. One of the things we talk about a lot and that you've probably heard on the news is cybersecurity, being secure. There's a lot of phishing attacks and schemes that go on where they try to take advantage, usually the bad guys are trying to take advantage of us not knowing or recognizing some of the things that they are doing. They had an attack that worked on a healthcare company, a national healthcare company that had over 21,000 users, and they sent not all of them, but they sent a lot of the employees a phishing email. A phishing email is where they try to get you to give them some information. So they just send these informations out, or these emails out, and they try to get you to give them your login information, your social security number, all kind of personal information that they can then turn around and sell or use to enter your sites or to impersonate you and things like that. But the one that I'm talking about now, this one that went past a lot of Microsoft's protections and things to kind of pick up on these, was used, and it started off with a subject that said It had your name on it, and it says today, have today's date, 2022, and it said that you have a couple of messages from Zoom. It says there are 2 messages waiting for your response. So if you read that email, it said, hey, yeah, there's a couple of Zoom messages for you, which is a little suspicious like that if you hadn't been on Zoom. But if you're in a company or if you're with people that y'all have been using Zoom lately, you may think, okay, you've got some messages for Zoom or from Zoom. Well, when you clicked on the email, the main button would have taken the users to a phony landing page that says Microsoft login site. So you get another page that come up. And at that site, the victims were instructed to enter their account password to it that already had your email address in there. Put your email address already in there. Looks like some of the things you go to and the email's already there. And after you put your information in there, your actual Microsoft account, then they had it. They could actually, go into your Microsoft account now, and they can look at things that you have in there, maybe find other passwords. So be careful when you go into some of these emails and they tell you to log in again. Whether it says it's to Microsoft or whatever, if you click on the email and then it tells you it wants you to log in, you got to be real suspicious of that. That's something that we want to definitely tell people, especially we've got a new seniors class of computer users that we're working with, and you have to be careful of the security. Now, there's a lot of built-in security to your emails and all of that, but this one was able to get by a lot of those because it did have a valid domain name. It had an email address. So a lot of the controls that they had, it kind of went by okay because the domain keys, the sender policy, all of those different authentication things were okay, or it bypassed them. And then it get into your inbox. So to help fight that, one of the things you need to do as you look in, and it's sort of a hassle, but it's something that can help you out. The multi-factor identification. If you've got a lot of sites that you've been going to, your bank, your credit card company, and all that, a lot of them now want your phone number. And they want you, when you log in, it'll say they're going to send a set of codes or something text them to you so that you can use them. You can also have it call you. Sometimes it's by phone. But whenever you go to log in on a lot of my accounts now, when I go to log in, it'll send me a code to my cell phone, and then I have to put that code in order to get in. That's a 2-factor identification. So not only did I have to know my username and my password, I had to also have that phone that it would come back to. So if I didn't have my phone around or with me, I couldn't log in because that's where they're going to send the code. They can send the code through an email. They can send it through a text message. And some I've seen they can even call you with that. So if you don't have a cell phone, saying you're at home on the computer, you can have them call your house phone. And it will happen. It won't just happen randomly and somebody calls your phone and says, oh, this is it. No, it's when you log in. You log in, you put in your username, your password, then it's going to call you. Then it's going to give you a code to put in to get to the site. Some of those are worth turning on. Yes, it's an extra hassle, but it helps you if somebody is trying to break in your account, or if somebody already got your username and password through a phishing scheme. If you fell victim to it and they got it, well, it's still going to be hard for them to get in because now it's going to try and call them. They don't have your phone. They won't get that code in order to get in. So turn on those. Yes, it's another step. It's another little bit of hassle when you're trying to log in, but it can protect you. You definitely want to put it on some of your financial sites. So if you do some online business and stuff, you want to have that 2-factor identification right there so that you get notified on your phone that, hey, you tried to get in your account. And you say, well, I ain't even tried to log in. Well, you know somebody's trying to get in because you got a text from your phone saying, here's the code. So that's something that you want to use. This company had a problem. The attack was very convincing. They used convincing emails, and then they want to get you curious about something. If it says you got a message from Zoom and you've been using Zoom, or it says you got a message from Facebook, or you got a message from anything, then you're kind of like, okay, especially if it has your name, your email. It says, hey, John Smith, you got a message from Facebook. Well, if you're John Smith, you're going to say, oh, okay, what do they want? And you click on it. Now, just clicking on it doesn't put you into anything, or it doesn't download it then, but then it's going to ask you for some things. It's getting you to voluntarily give some of your information. So be careful about signing in, logging in on something that just comes randomly in an email. You can turn around and contact that company and say, hey, did y'all send me something or anything like that? But you have to be real careful. If you haven't requested something, if you haven't been on your computer doing something, it may say it's from your bank. And that's, one of the old phishing schemes that it came up. It has your bank's header. It looks just like your bank's email and stuff. It has your name on it. And it says, hey, they're trying to get in touch with you about your account. Well, a lot of times then the best thing to do is call your bank. Don't do it all right there on that email. Sometimes we get either feel it's urgent that we do something right now, and that's what the bad guys are looking for you to think, oh, I better check the bank right now. It says somebody's trying to get in your account. We need to check with you quick. Well, you're thinking, oh, I better check. Well, those are the bad guys who want to get into your account. So be careful with phishing and phishing attacks. It's one way that they do get into your accounts, and you don't want to lose your money, your hard-earned money, and you don't want people to buy things using your name. So that's something you definitely want to be careful of. Another thing that's going on in the cyber world right now is Amazon Prime. They're having an early Amazon Prime event. It's going to start tomorrow or tonight at 12 a.m., which will be the 11th. But at 12 a.m., Amazon is doing their Black Friday. Well, they're not calling it Black Friday, but it's an Amazon Prime event, and it'll be featuring some deals, and you can save money. It says Amazon has provided a sneak preview of some of the top electronic deals shoppers can expect during this Prime event. So they might have up to 35% off on select laptops and accessories from Acer and Dell and all your usual suspects. Up to 50% off on select headphones and earbuds and speakers from Bose, Sony, and JBL. Also, 55% off on select Echo devices. 55% off on Fire tablets. Save on Samsung, Sony. All those are going to be having stuff on sale. So you have to be an Amazon Prime subscriber for that, though. Amazon costs you every month. But one thing you can do that is that they do have free trials. So you can sign up for a free trial of Amazon where you don't have to, if you don't like it, you can cancel it because it is a trial. You just have to remember that within those 30 days to cancel the trial out and say you don't want it. But you can check it out during this prime time to see if that's something that you can benefit from. If you're a student, you can actually get on Amazon Prime for less. They've got special rates for those, so there's a lot of things that you can look at. So if you're interested in sales, if you buy online, shop online, those are some events that's happening. I also heard that Target is having a sales event that may be going on now. I think they tried to start a day before Amazon did. So the companies are starting to fight to get all of the inventory that they've had built up out, because people had inventory that was out on the boats and all that are in now, and more stuff is coming, so they have to try and get a lot of that stuff shipped out. So now may be the time, although I've heard that you might want to hold up on getting your computers or your computer products because there may be even better sales a little bit later on those. Usually they come in just before Christmas. So it's just word if you want to get out there and check it. Now, another thing that's been going on here, and we've had a few classes here, Seniors Will Compute. Our basic computer class for seniors started last week. and they've already had a couple of classes. I think 3. They had a Thursday class, a Saturday class, and maybe they've just had 2 classes. 2 classes right now. But the class has already started, but it's been a great time. It's been fun. The people are really engaged, and they're really learning. So seniors will compute. You can call and see if they can squeeze you in, even as it's already going. I don't know if they will or not. Roz, that has been working it, has been really busy with the students. But, hey, give her a call and see if you can get into the class, because the seniors class has been really good. You can call at 816-599-6893 if you want to learn basic computers. If you haven't learned the basics of computers and you think now, I need to get into that, I want to be able to see pictures of my grandkids or get in touch with people that I haven't seen in a long time, this is one way you can do it. Start learning about the computer. Start closing that digital divide so that you can, get in touch with people. And you can maybe save money. Sometimes there's deals online. You can also do some medical appointments and things like that online. So there's a lot of things, if you learn how to use this digital world, that can save you time and money, save you gasoline, and you know how much gas is right now. So if you can save a trip by just sending somebody an email or checking in on a Zoom with your doctor or something, you might say, hey, this is good enough. And I've saved that gas. I saved the wear and tear on my car. So if you want to learn basic computers, the class already started. It started October the 1st. They've had 2 sessions, but give us a call at 816-599-6893. That's the number here at the KUAW radio station. Or you can email rfs7800@gmail.com. So if you know someone and you see this on the screen right now, write that down and give it to them. Tell them to call 816-599-6893. They can leave a message, but tell them to call to see about the computer class for seniors. That's going on right now. It's open. We're ready, and we're taking people in. Also, let me get that off there. We've already started our robotics classes. So BFTAA is already getting up and running. We've got robotics that have been for kids 9 through 12 and 13 through 18. Which I've got to change that a little bit, though, because we had a young lady that was 12 years old. I didn't know 12 is 7th grade, so she was middle school. So middle school students can get into VEX, and our elementary school students will be in Lego, but they have to be at least 9 years old. And we're recruiting right now. The robotics teams have already started. They've met, but they can take on some new students right now. It's early on. So if you'd like to get your child involved in a robotics program, now's the time. You need to do it this week. Get in as soon as possible. So contact us that you want to get your child into the robotics program. Because we don't want them to get too far down the line, and then the kids have to come in, and it's kind of hard to catch up or to know what the other kids have been doing. So if you'd like to get your child into our robotics program, our youth robotics program, now is the time. This week would be the best week to get them in, and we've got openings in VEX and in Lego. So you can get your child in either one of those classes this week. So give us a call. Once again, you can call me direct, 816-805-0406, or you can call the station number, 816-599-6893. You can email us at bftaa@sbcglobal.net. Just say you're interested, you want some more information about the robotics program. Give us your child's age and information like that. You can also go ahead and register your child, and we will contact you. If you go to our website, which is www.bftaa.org. So if you go to www.bftaa.org, you'll see in the middle of the page it says register your child for the robotics program in the middle of that page. Click on that link. It'll take you to a form. If you fill that out, it'll send me an email, and we will contact you about getting into the program. So go to our website, www.bftaa.org, and you can enroll your child in the robotics program. We're taking ages from 9 to 18 years old. So get in touch with us. Those kids need to learn about robotics because robotics is getting bigger and bigger. There are more jobs that are going to be replaced by robots. So we need to know how to work robots, how to create robots, how to build robots, how to engineer robots. We need to be working on that and not just crying about the robots taking your job. You know, that's just being reactionary there. But get ahead of the game and learn how to work on, how to control, how to program, how to work with the robots. That is where it's going to be a lot of money. Some of the jobs that are available are good paying jobs in those fields. The technology field in general is paying, they've got some jobs that really pay good, but you've got to be knowledgeable in order to get into those. And learning about robotics, getting involved in the robotics program is a great way to learn. I was looking at some of the jobs and what they pay, what they're offering right now. If you're, and this is Amazon, AWS is Amazon's networking or internet services, but if you're an AWS Certified Solutions Architect Professional, you can get a salary with making $168,000 a year. A certified information security manager, if you learn about that security, you can make it. You can get jobs at with a salary of $162,000 a year. A Google Cloud professional, cloud architect, makes $161,000 a year plus. There's some change. Certified information systems security professional. We get back to that cybersecurity. It goes with a top salary of $158,000 and change. Amazon Certified Solutions Architect Associate. So this is not even a senior, just an associate. $155,000 a year. So think about those jobs. And a lot of the top jobs, a lot of the top pay is coming from Amazon, where they need people. Amazon Certified Security Specialty, $149,000 a year. Then here's a job that's not all technical, where you got to do a programmer and stuff, but a lot of businesses are using, is a project management professional. So there's a lot of people out there that are project managers. Project manager professionals with a company called Nutanix. Their certified professional multi-cloud infrastructure person has a salary of $147,000 a year. A Microsoft Azure Solution Architect expert makes $142,000 a year. And then the last place, the lowest paid of these top leaders, is a Google Cloud digital leader. And they make $142,000 a year. So those are some things to look at. A certified information systems auditor, a VMware certified professional. All of these CCNP Enterprise, which is a Cisco certified person, all of these are making over $100,000 a year. So that's why we talk about technology, about getting our kids in technology and learning about technology, is because it can pay well. Now, it's not something that's easy. It's not something everybody does, but we've got to get our kids pointed that direction. And if you shoot for that $160,000 a year job, you may not make it. You may have to settle for $110,000 or something. But what a good place to land. So let's get our children involved in this. Let's learn. And some of you that are in the workforce already, it's time to sharpen up those skills. Move up another notch. Take some more classes. See about getting some certification. This is a time in life where it's lifelong learning. Yeah, there's never a time where you're going to say, I know it all. Even when I was working, it was lifelong learning and stuff. At AT&T, we had classes constantly. You always had to brush up your skills. You didn't learn and just stay on it. Sometimes the classes were just a week or two, but they were constantly giving you more information. Then as new equipment came out, new technologies were brought in. If you didn't learn them, then as they started taking over most of the jobs, you're going to be left out in the cold, because that's where the job is with the new technology. You might say, I already know how to do my job over here, but yeah, what if they change that machine, take it out, put in another one that you've got to be able to do some programming with? Okay, they either got to train you or they're going to bring somebody else in. So stay up on the training, stick your hand up, volunteer for the training, volunteer for those jobs that seem to be hard and you got to study on, all of that. It can be beneficial in the long run. Now that's just my thought right there. But these jobs I'm looking at with $140,000, $160,000 a year, and yes, it's okay to be an entrepreneur and run your own business and all of that if you want to do it. But making $168,000 a year ain't bad either. You know, so it's room in the world for all those. You may not want to have your own business. You may want to work at a company. It's different strokes for different folks. But try and be good and some of the best in whatever it is you choose to do. And it's a good thing. So, yeah, we're taking kids in our robotics program. We're also working on a new drone program. So in the second semester in January, we're hoping to start a drone program where our kids will be flying drones, learning how to build drones, learning how to program drones, and all of that, just like the robotics program. So that's what we're about here. You can learn coding. You can learn coding for coding's sake, or you can learn how to code and how to program a piece of equipment. Any of that is, and all of that is good as long as you continue to learn. So let's get our kids involved in that continuous learning cycle, especially if it's something that they like to do and that is fun for them to do. We need to have our young people involved in that in all aspects. This country needs the brain power of our young people as entrepreneurs, as employees, as anything, as they call entrepreneurs that they have that build their way up within the company. All of that is something that we need to keep our country in a high standing in the world's competition, to be in first place. And we can't be there without all of our people using all of the brain power they have to do the best with innovation, with technology, with creativity. All of that is very important for us. So, hey, let's get involved. Let's keep doing it. There's no time to sit back and relax. It's time to get busy out there. Now, I'm going to go back. I had a hard time starting this week at NASA, and it skipped around. But let's see if we can get a little bit of the information from NASA. Now that I've got that through with you, let's see what we've got here. And somebody, I think we've got a Space to Ground video. Here we go.
Welcome to Space to Ground. I'm Dan Hewitt. Hard to believe, but we're already at our 5th rotation flight on Crew Dragon, delivering 4 new crew members to the space station. NASA's SpaceX Crew 5 mission lifted off on Wednesday with NASA astronauts Nicole Mann and Josh Cassada, JAXA astronaut Koichi Wakata, and Roscosmos cosmonaut Anna Kikina on board. Carried to space on a Falcon 9 rocket, they had a flawless ride uphill before settling in for the long flight to station. We even got a look at a special stowaway making the trip up with them.
A couple years after he come up with his groundbreaking theory of special relativity, Albert Einstein, in his mind, still had a couple loose ends to tie up. While he was sitting in the patent office, he had his happiest thought of his entire life. That thought was, person in free fall doesn't feel their own weight. That thought, along with some others that he built upon, led to general relativity and our understanding of gravitation and curvature of space-time. We're experiencing Einstein's happiest thought continuously, like the International Space Station has been doing for over 20 years.
And it was a long ride, but after a safe arrival, the station is positively packed. Crew Dragon Endurance executed its automated rendezvous and docking, linking up to the forward-facing port on Node 2. With Crew 4 and Dragon Freedom still docked, we were treated to yet another instance of Double Dragon. Once on board, the crew was welcomed by fellow Expedition 68 astronauts and cosmonauts, marking the start of more than 150 days in space. For Nicole, Josh, and Anna, this is spaceflight number 1, But for Koichi, this is spaceflight number 5, adding another long-duration stay to the resume of one of the most experienced space flyers in the game today. We'll spend 5 to 7 days with 11 people living on board the station before it's time for Crew 4 to undock and return 4 astronauts home with a splashdown off the coast of Florida. Meanwhile, the station has instruments trained on planet Earth, with one offering a deeper look at the global impact of a volcanic eruption. The SAGE-3, which stands for Stratospheric Aerosol and Gas Experiment, observed dramatically increased layers of stratospheric aerosol particles and water vapor following the eruption of the Hunga Tonga Hunga Ha'apai volcano. And for several months after, it continued to see these increased levels around the volcano and the entire globe. Getting this data becomes critical to those of us on Earth because it informs us how these natural disasters can impact the Earth's climate on a global scale. Aerosols, a lot of people understand they can scatter light coming in from the sun, so why are we looking at water vapor? Well, not only can increased water vapor lead to the destruction of stratospheric ozone, essentially Earth's sunscreen, it also warms the atmosphere. The water vapor readings from the Tonga eruption seen by the SAGE-3 experiment are 3 to 4 times those ever recorded by a SAGE instrument dating all the way back to 1985. That's Space to Ground for this week. Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow all of the newest station residents on social media to keep track of their time in space. Head over to nasa.gov/astronauts to learn more. We'll see you next week, and I'll see you around the holidays.
All right. Yeah, that was Space to Ground. Very interesting now that we got 2 space capsules docked at the orbiting space station now at the same time. Very interesting. So it's starting to become a not commonplace, but very busy place up in that station, and they've expanded it. They've made it bigger and added modules onto it. So that is fantastic of what we've got in that space station, and what they learned from that to be able to build even bigger and better space stations in the future, maybe between here and the moon or orbiting the moon. All of that is all something that we need to be, or I definitely like to have an interest in, that mankind is learning, expanding our territory, stretching out into the cosmos. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm sorry that we didn't get the first what's up this week at NASA, but what I'm going to do is we're saying goodbye. I'm going to go ahead and play that. I'm going to sign off now, but I'm going to play This Week in NASA, the one that I should have started at the beginning, but we're going to play that now while I'm gone. Thank you for listening to the BFTAA and More Show. I'm your host, Louis George Walker, and I will be here again next Monday from 5 to 5:45 with BFTAA and More, brought to you by the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center, where you can bring your students in for tutoring, for learning reading, math, and for improving their reading, math, and science. Right here, 4510 East Linwood Boulevard, Kansas City, Missouri. And also get involved in our robotics program with the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, providing technology classes for the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center. That's it for me. Now we'll go out with NASA's This Week at NASA. Bye-bye.
Launching a new crew to the space station, the plan moving forward for Artemis 1, and Webb's new look at a pair of galaxies. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA. NASA's SpaceX Crew 5 mission launched to the International Space Station on October 5th. Crew 5 will spend 6 months on the station, conducting research and technology demonstrations that benefit people on Earth and lays the groundwork for future Artemis human exploration missions to the Moon and eventually to Mars. In the wake of Hurricane Ian, teams at our Kennedy Space Center are looking at the November 12th through November 27th timeframe for the next Artemis 1 launch attempt. Artemis 1 updates are available at blogs.nasa.gov/Artemis. A new Webb Space Telescope image of a spiral galaxy and an elliptical galaxy, combined with a Hubble Space Telescope image, is helping researchers study the effects of interstellar dust and help them identify a previously unknown lensed galaxy for the first time. On October 2nd, NASA's Solar Dynamics Observatory captured the Sun emitting an X1 class solar flare. X-class flares can impact radio communications and electric power grids on Earth and pose risks to spacecraft and astronauts in space. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on the web at nasa.gov/twan.